ready? Are you ready?
Literally, it's no pressure. I'm your host, Bangem Bugg.
It's your girl, Just K for real.
If we got a special guest, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is QueenLEFT. I am a rapper, an overall artist.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna get K to do like the sway in to let you kind of know what the vibe gonna be like.
All right, so you're going by what?
QueenLEFT.
QueenLEFT. Hold up your right hand for me. All right. Do you solemnly agree that we have your permission to put this across all of our social media platforms?
Yes.
Is there anything, and I do mean anything, that is off limits that you don't want us to ask you about?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand that if we do ask you something that you're uncomfortable with, that you can tell us that you don't want to talk about it or you can pass?
Yes.
Let's get it.
Awesome.
Okay, so I guess we gonna start it off like, did you grow up with both of your parents?
Yes, I grew up with both my parents in a household. I loved it. It was a great experience. It was a great environment that I grew up around. It wasn't like a whole bunch of trauma and stuff that I experienced until I went out into the real world. But I had great parents. I would say that they were like how you would think, what a parent to be now. Like they were very like kind of like modern parents. They were very caring. They were very involved. They cared about how we felt and asked questions and different things. So I had a really great.
How many siblings you have?
I had a brother and sister, so 2 other siblings.
Okay.
Okay, so would you want like a guy as far as like a mate? Would you want him to be like your dad or like the opposite?
I would say yes. My dad was very family oriented, like extremely, and he made sure like he was like his father in a sense. They were all Capricorns. Like my dad was a Capricorn, my grandfather was, and my brother's a Capricorn. So I grew up with Capricorn men. Very family based. They're very about their money and having the household right. So I definitely would.
You
Did he drink a lot?
No, I'm a Sag. No, he didn't drink. He was very Christian. Like they were very Christian based, especially my father's. But when they got to us, they were kind of a little bit more lenient because they were very strict with my parents. With my dad. So. Yeah, I'm a Sag.
I'm a Leo girl. We like soulmates.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Leo.
I know.
Especially the ladies. I love Leo.
Right? Because we like soulmates.
Mm-hmm.
It's just written in the stars.
Yes.
How's your day or somewhere?
You trying it.
Okay, something you changed about yourself and something that has changed you.
I would say being more mindful, like being in the present and enjoying what I have now and just enjoying what's in front of me. Because I used to have a lot of anxiety to where I would think too much about the future and things that haven't even happened, like create scenarios in my head. So, getting more into my spiritual self, I started to practice mindfulness and being present in gratitude and just enjoying what is happening now. So that's the thing that I said I would have learned. What was that like? It's like it.
I be trying to focus.
You trying to listen?
Yeah, I be trying to go to the next question, so I forgot what you were saying. I kind of drift off into the question.
Okay.
So Kay don't be paying attention.
Nah, I was trying to get on the live,
You said something you've learned and then something.
Oh, something that you've changed about yourself and something that changed you.
Something that changed me. Ooh. Okay, so like a couple of years ago, I got into a relationship and I learned about having boundaries after that relationship, and that really like changed my view on certain things, like how to deal with people, like how to create boundaries, how to say no, and not always doing what the person wants. You like trying to please them in a sense, like make them happy. And sometimes you kind of put yourself on the back burner and the things you need and want on the back burner for that person. So I learned very hard.
So how far did you go? Like, what was the final breaking point to be like, oh no, I need to put some walls up?
I found out a lot of things that I was being told were lies, and then
Give me one.
That he was interested in having something long term. Come to find out, like, because he was pretty close. Well, he kind of knew my family in a sense, and he started. My sister was there, so he would kind of have conversation with her and be like, "Oh no, she's just my friend," and I was like, "That's not what we talked about." Like,
right.
What? So it was just a lot of things that just came out, and just noticing how the real, real type of person that he was, kind of like the taking off the tinted glasses and just seeing the person for who they was, and I was just like, this is not worth it.
How long did that take?
Probably like a year.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's really good. Child, people be stuck.
Yeah, and that was another thing. I was like, I don't have to deal with this, and I'm like super young. Like, I don't really have to, stay in a situation. Stay attached to something that's very detrimental. That's definitely what it was.
I mean, that was a big red flag once he said y'all was friends.
But that was like later on. That was like literally when I was like, okay, yeah, no. He wasn't talking like that. But as soon as my sister, he started talking to my sister. My sister's like, I really don't think this guy really likes you that much, because what he's saying to me is different than what he's telling you. And that was the thing where I was just like, oh yeah, like there's some things that I need to like really pay attention to, because there were a couple of red flags, but they weren't like alarming, but they were obviously red flags. But that was kind of one of my first relationships, so I pretty much ignored small things. But when it came to things like that, I did confront him about it, stuff like that. But
you from New York?
Yeah.
Okay. What part?
Upstate New York. So like Rochester.
Okay. You from the mountains?
Yeah, basically. Innocent, yeah.
Okay, so what you usually go for? Like, you like a certain type, or you always like to pick the guy, or you just like fuck with who fuck with you type?
I don't really even. Well, I do have. I don't want to say I don't have a type. Like, I like guys who are kind of like, similar to you. You want to be, you want to have that compatibility. It's not just about chemistry, it's about compatibility. Like, you kind of have the same mindset, morals, and different things. Like, I'm very spiritual and stuff like that. So it's dope to find like a guy that has that same type of mindset, or who's on a similar path as me, who has like goals and things checked out, that's working on themselves, that's healing parts of themselves, that, that's toxic. So when I'm in the situation, it's not like mayhem or dysfunction and stuff like that. So someone who's actively working on themselves, that's mature, that I can have those conversations with, that's emotionally intelligent, along those lines. Like, physically, I don't really have too much, but I obviously, black men is my preference. But yeah, like, usually,
you like fat niggas, dark niggas, tall niggas.
I like dark skinned men. Like, that would be my preference. But honestly, if it's just an attraction and we both are like, okay, we want to see where this goes, then I'll go there. I like guys with locks too. I love locks.
Okay, so
locks.
Beautiful.
Okay, I guess we'll go to another question. Okay, it's a quote I find. It say, never restart a journey and use the same road that failed you before. So have you ever like ended up doing something like that, like trying something over and over again?
Yes, definitely. Probably not as much though, because I pretty much learned my lesson the first time. Like, when I notice something isn't working, I'm like, it's no point in trying it again, unless there's like a different method of going that way, then I would. But more than likely, I don't like to learn lessons over and over again. Like,
I know that's right.
I don't be seeing the point. I don't be seeing the point in trying to.
So you rap. Do you feel like me personally, I feel like I write the best stuff when I'm mad. Do you feel like it's a certain mood that puts you like in your bag and gets you like, you make the best songs when you feel in a certain way?
Yes, definitely. Like, especially like relationship stuff, because I just started writing about love and all that, because that wasn't really my main focus. I would focus on, personal things that I would go through and just writing about that. But absolutely, like, when I'm in the mood or anything, or something comes to me, because usually if something, that's when I really get into my writing mode, is when something comes to me. Then I'll just keep going and keep going and keep going. And yeah, like, it's really simple, like, my process. It's not something like extremely like in depth, really. It's just whatever I feel, I write. If there's something that I'm listening to and it catches my ear and I start to think about something, then I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write about that. Or if I hear a beat and I'm like, oh, that goes hard, then I'll start writing to it, and just the basic stuff.
Gotcha.
Yes.
You like whatever I feel, I'm writing.
Yeah. I think it's. I like to be versatile, not just with the music, but what I'm talking about, because I feel like everyone goes through everything. So it's as an artist, you like to just create. You don't really. A lot of artists, they do like to be in a certain bag, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
If you want to make a certain type of music, but I like to be creative and like explore different realms.
Right.
Yeah, genre wise and topic wise.
That's dope.
Kay ain't listening to you. She be acting like
I can tell you everything she said.
Okay, I'm gonna go with this story about Boosie. He was telling the story on Vlad about how like a guy called him about his girlfriend and like begged him to like leave her alone because he had been with her for so long. So what y'all think about that? And like, would you ever call a guy and like beg? Call a female and say, "Can you leave my man alone?"
Say it again.
A college student called Boosie.
Mm-hmm.
He got the number out of his girl's phone and called him and begged him for him to stop messing with his girl because he had been with her for so long.
And Boosie talks about it.
Yeah. And he said he did though.
He left him alone. He left the girl alone.
Yeah. So would y'all call a female and say, "Can you leave my man?"
Fuck no.
No, I'm going. No, oh no.
I'm cute.
I don't like all that.
I'm
like,
cute.
Okay, that's what you want.
There's a lot of cute girls, Kay. Come on.
Okay, they could be cute too, but I'm gonna be cute, and it's another nigga out here. I'm not about to ask no female to leave.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
What if
I have
he's
too
like
much pride when it comes
exactly
to
what y'all want? Like,
no, he's not, because he's messing with somebody else.
Money.
He's messing with
That's
somebody else,
cute,
so
but
he's not
no.
what I want.
Exactly. Like if you're not, your morals you have to have morals and integrity. Your character has to be solid. Like I'm not dealing with a guy that, first of all, you're lying. Like you're a liar. And you're deceitful. You're dealing with a whole other person on the side.
I gotta go through
and then
your
she's
phone.
calling me. Like
No. And then you talking about there's us other cute girls, right? It's other cute niggas.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'm just saying.
Plenty of cute.
But it's like I wouldn't
successful
want to be
guy.
in a toxic relationship where I'm always crying or having to think about that. I'd rather just be by myself if that's the case. Like I don't want to deal with that.
You would date a girl?
No, I'm not interested.
She said no.
I'm
I think that's a good point that you said though. Like a lot of people aren't okay with being alone.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm cool being by myself.
Yeah.
Like, I
It
love
seems
my
like you
space.
want to be by yourself now. Like what you be saying to me, you don't like to care. Like you just wish the nigga would go away or something.
No, I don't like. I don't like caring because it's kind of like inconvenient, like or not inconvenient, just uncomfortable because I have to try to care. So if I try to care and then that energy is not reciprocated, like it has to be like 100. I gotta feel like, okay, I showed you love and you showed me love. If I ever feel like I showed you love and you played me 50, I'm like, fuck this shit. I didn't want to do this in the first place. Why am I doing this? So that's the whole thing, because I'm just not, like, I was raised by a woman, by my mom, but she's like a man. Like, my mom wasn't like, give me a hug and let me kiss on you and shit like that. So I'm very similar in that way. I'm not really super affectionate, but I like affection at the same time, I guess.
I can't be with a girl like that who don't like to hug and kiss and shit like that.
And it's like I'll do it like if I love you, like Scott, I'll be in his face and stuff, but it's just not all the time, especially if I'm in my bag, like business wise. And Scott he want to be in my face as soon as I'm doing business. He knows it too. I'll be like, babe, he be like, you know how I am. Just as soon as I'm busy, he like, hey, what you doing? How you doing? I'm like, bruh, I'll see you in a little bit. Like, just leave me alone. So, nah, but I'm a lover. I love, but it just be hard to do stuff on purpose outside of my comfort zone. So when I put that effort there,
What's going out of your comfort zone?
it's just effort. Like, if it's just not natural. Like, some people need more love. Like, Scott is a lover. So I'm like, I'll feel bad if I'm not doing that. Even though he's okay. But I still feel bad. Like, oh shit. Like, I should go back and be like, hey, babe, how you doing? Like, I walk in the house and be like, hey, babe. And I'm like, nah, I should probably give him a hug, kiss on him, because he would like that. Like, if I'm putting that effort in and then at any point in time you're not giving it back, that's when I'm like, oh, fuck this shit. Like, I
So
don't
you
want
don't.
to do
So
this.
you not naturally affectionate, like 'cause
Yeah.
you gotta kind of force yourself.
Yeah, and not all the time, just sometimes.
What about
I
you?
get what she means, because, and it's so crazy because I come from an affectionate family, but and I don't know if it came from my grandfather or whatever, but he wasn't really affectionate, and I'm not. Well, I've grown into it as I got older, but you know, my family, they love hugging, giving you a kiss, you know, being very close, and I will always just be like, personal space.
That's Sagittarius though.
Yeah.
My best friend is the same way.
I'll be like, okay, that's nice. You know, and even when dealing with people or dating or even friendships, I've had, you know, guys that were super emotional, and I was just like, that's probably not gonna work for me, because I always get accused of not being more like as emotional as them, and I'm just like,
Give me an example of him, a guy being emotional.
A lot of them were they're just very okay. Yes.
Okay,
You said what, bitch?
Like the last guy I dated, whenever we would have conversations and I didn't agree with him, he would like flip and get upset, and I would just be like, so you're mad because I haven't, just be super emotional, like, oh, you're wrong, da, 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 like things like that, or will just at the drop of a dime flip on me, and I feel like I have to walk on eggshells, just be in the moods, like it randomly.
He was from New York?
No, he's from, where is he from? I don't remember where he's from. I think he's from Atlanta, actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But he was just a very emotional person, could feel everything around him. Like, even when we were out and about, he'd be like, I need to leave because I'm feeling, and I'm like, I don't think I can do it.
Okay. Now I need to leave because I'm feeling. Oh,
yeah,
please stay away.
like, I feel like I'm emotionally intelligent to where I can show my emotion. Like, my friends they'll be like, oh, you're good. Like, I can express my emotions and be caring and stuff like that. Like, I'm very, very that. But I feel like I do it in a way where I have boundaries set up where it's like, yeah, I can do that, but I'm not going to be overly into that because that's just not me. And, you know, sometimes it's to protect yourself, or it's just like, I'd rather see things from both sides, like be logical and emotional at the same time. Like, even if it's something I don't like, I'll know not to react to everything in a certain way, or I'll just be like, okay, that doesn't deserve that. As opposed to people I've dealt with where they react to every little thing that bothers them, and I'm like, I can approach a person and be like, you know, talk to them or whatever, or I'll just be like, you know what, it's really not worth it.
Right.
But it's like, when it came to me, it was like every little thing was a trigger, and I was just like, I really can't deal with, you know, that. And that's when I said, you know, I have to have somebody that's actively healing themselves, because if you haven't, and you have so much traumas from like childhood and different things like that, that's gonna affect your relationships. And now I'm in a relationship with you, and it's bothering me and triggering me to now where I feel like I really can't be myself when I'm around you, because every little thing I do is a problem.
Oh.
Or if you're like a healthy person in the relationship and they're doing all this stuff and they don't see you doing the same thing as them, it's like a projection thing where it's like, you're not enough. So it's just like, I have to be really careful with that, because I am like, a lot of them will be like, oh, you have a powerful energy, you're very strong, da 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 da. But then it will like flip on me, like completely. Because now if I'm not reacting to them, to little things they do, you know, toxic shit people will probably do in relationships. Then now they're looking at me like,
you don't care?
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm not about to do this.
I'm not about to
with
give you
you.
that. I'm not giving you that.
I'm not doing that.
I don't think I only dated one chick who wasn't traumatized. You know, she grew up with her family, she wasn't raped and all this type of shit. It was probably like one out of all the girls, so
that was healthy.
You gonna meet somebody who traumatized more than likely.
I did, the last guy that I was dating, he was older than me. He was like 30 something. And it was very healthy. I'm 26.
Okay.
Very healthy. Whenever there was like something that he didn't agree with, we would have a conversation. We never had an outburst. We never had a disagreement to the point where it blew up. He listened to me. Like, it was very healthy. And I was like, okay, but you know, he wasn't really ready for a relationship. So, you know, we just was cool after that. But I was like, relationship wise, I was like, oh, okay, like, I like this. Like, that's what I want, because after I moved out of those relationships, I was trying to, you know, trying to deal with different types of people. And that was one of the people that I dealt with where I was like, okay, I see the change. and even just how I change how I move when dealing with those type of person. Like if you see red flags from the beginning, you know it's not gonna work out. So it's like you need to go, because it's just gonna keep going back until you learn what you need to learn. Like you're just gonna deal with the same type of people, just in different bodies.
And I mean too, I noticed too, like when some women are broke, they be like stressed out and they cause problems. But
Men too.
when somebody who's just stable and got their shit together, they calm and cool. So.
Yeah, men are like that too. Cause one of the guys one of the guys I dated, he was very unstable, and I was just like, this isn't gonna work, because I feel like you need to be working on yourself, mentally, emotionally, stuff, and your finances, because you don't feel comfortable like being with me, and it would come out in different ways. Like when they're not financially stable and you are, they kind of like have this little thing towards you, because you have your stuff together and they don't, so now they're looking at you like
help
you
me,
think you better.
Help me. Okay, a time you felt like you was losing your mind.
Ooh,
y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
I feel like, okay, so since a child, I've always been like to myself, to the point where I can kind of I have that relationship where if I notice I'm getting to a certain point, I could kind of like move my way out of it in a healthy way. Like, you know, when you, like for instance, when it comes to healing, when they talk about solitude, you going into solitude and really like being with yourself and getting to know who you are. I felt like I've done that, like that was a big part of my childhood. And as I got older, whenever I felt like things would go haywire, I always be like, go into your room, journal, like really express how you feel and work through that. So I never really had a moment where I felt like I was losing my mind. I really haven't. That's good.
So you got like a diary?
It's a journal, yeah.
So give me something embarrassing that you might have wrote in your diary or your journal.
Embarrassing. Oh.
I'm crying.
You know when you're dating somebody and you're like, oh my God, I want to be with them, da da da. That was very embarrassing reading that shit back over. I was like, like this man I was writing this about, like, oh my gosh, I just want us to come together and be like shit like that, like fairy tale shit. I feel like that was very, very embarrassing, because seeing the person that he actually was, and I'm over here gushing and super happy and like all about him. It was just like, like what was I thinking? Like what was I on when I wrote that? I feel like those are the most embarrassing stories. Yes. In my journal.
Okay, something that was done wrong to you in a relationship and you decided to do it back. I know K-Huz is cheating back and shit like that.
I don't cheat, sweetheart. I'm spiteful. I will you can't get smart with me and shit like that. Right? Or don't hit me, because I might hit you with a brick.
I would say I don't think I have that. I just leave people alone. Like if you do something that's super disrespectful, like I could have, but I just like I'd rather just leave you alone.
You ain't never
when I
been
get angry, I'm horrible. So I'm like, I'd rather not go there, because it's trash. Like when I'm really like angry and I black out. So I don't, and I would do something extremely terrible.
What takes you there, or what has taken you there? Because now you like, I'm this
disrespect, crossing boundaries after I've asked you not to, and you continually do it. That'll like trigger me big time. I was just talking about this with my friend. Like I don't like when people cross boundaries at all. Like I feel like that's the ultimate disrespect. You're not respecting me. You're not respecting my space. So now it's just like, what is there left to do but probably get physical? So I just rather avoid all that, because I know how I get when I'm angry. So I just leave them alone. Like the worst thing I did was call the police on a guy because he would not leave my house. That was like the worst, and I had to, because I was like, what else can I do? It's either I hurt him in some way, or I just be like, Yeah, the police up, you leave before they, because he left before they even came.
Mm-hmm.
And just get rid of it in that way. Because I was like, if I do what I'm going to do, or if I invite friends, because my friends was like, oh, why didn't you hit me up to come over? I was like, because I know what y'all would do. Like, y'all all have guns. And y'all would get physical with this man. So I'm like, I just rather avoid all that and just end the shit.
Why wouldn't he leave?
Just spiteful. Like, he claimed that I had something of his that I didn't have. Like, something that he left, that he claimed he left there 2 weeks beforehand. And I'm like, it's not here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel like he was just doing that to be funny. Like, to be spiteful. Like, he felt like he could do that. And I was just like, yeah, this is not... Because he was trying to be friends after that. And I'm like, no. Like, I literally blocked him on every single thing. I was like, I would never in life talk to you ever again. Like, even if I see you in person, like, you don't exist to me. I don't like shit like that. Like, disrespect, crossing boundaries, not being respectful.
You had another dude coming over or something?
No, like, we had... And that was a crazy night. Because this man literally had the nerve to hold me hostage in his house for like 7 hours.
I hate that.
And I was like, sir, because I didn't want to do something he wanted me to do, he blacked out on me, talking, like, telling me I was weak and da-da-da. I was like...
What he wanted you to do?
He, like, I was really, really sick, and I wanted to go to the hospital, and he told me he would take me. And then he was like, but I want to heal you. He trying to be this fucking guru and shit like that. And I want to heal you. Heal you. I want to do this and da-da-da. I was like, okay, that's cool, but I still want to go to the hospital. And he was so against me going to the hospital. He was like, da-da-da-da, I'm not taking you to no fucking hospital. And I blacked out because I was like, you just told me you were going to take me. Like, why are you not changing your mind? So now I'm getting ready to leave, packing all my stuff up. He's refusing me to leave the house because he wants me, had the nerve to be like, oh, you can't go because you have to clean up this thing that your cat dropped on the floor. And it was like some shit that he left out. And I was like, you really think I'm about to get on the floor and start doing this before I can leave the house? I was like, you must be out of your mind. I was like, yes. I was like, you must be out of your mind to think I'm about to, because I guess he's dealt with people where he can do that. And I'm just looking at this man like, he is crazy. Like, So I was like, absolutely not. Because if I continue to talk to you, then now I'm disrespecting myself. And I'm stupid. Like, just to brush that over because I want to be loyal to a friend. Like, no. But yeah, that was the craziest thing that I've dealt with the man. And after that, I was like, first sign ever, I'm leaving. Like, that I see that's trash. Or I have to walk on eggshells. I really can't be myself with you. I gotta go.
Yeah, but sometimes it could be like a misunderstanding. Some women, like, you can do something and they just go off and it's something
But
simple,
I really
like,
did not do anything. Like, I would walk in the house and this man would literally start stuff. Like, I remember he asked me if I had money for something. And I was like, no. And he was like, you're a liar. See, I can tell when you be lying. Da, da. And I was just looking like, man, I just walked in the fucking house. Like, what the fuck? He had an issue with something else. And he projected it onto me, basically. So that's what, like, he would do shit like that. Like, very, very sensitive, very combative. He had a lot of issues with other people. So I knew it wasn't me. Because even he had a priestess that was his mentor. And she even stopped talking to him. Because of how he was. So I'm like, this is a pattern. And he was like, oh, you're going to leave just like the rest? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a whole bunch of people leaving your life because you're toxic, you need to look in the mirror and really, like, stop playing the victim in every situation. Nobody's leaving you just because they're leaving you. Like, sometimes you play a role in that. And I was like, the best thing that I can do for you is leave. Because you're not going to change. You're not really going to try to heal. You're not really going to try to be a better person if I'm still there coddling your attitude and making it okay. Like, it was ridiculous. That was the worst thing I've ever experienced. And that one was only 3 weeks. Because I was like, absolutely not. And we were friends before that. But when you're friends, you don't really pay attention. Like, because it's like, yeah. It's like, oh, I'm not with him all the time. And he's emotional, but okay, it's not really too big of a deal. And I'm not with you all the time to see everything that's going on.
And you don't have to care.
Yeah, exactly. So now that I'm dating you, I'm seeing every single thing because we were together like almost every day. So now I'm seeing everything, and I stayed with him for like those 3 weeks.
Oh what kind of niggas you dating? You can be with a nigga every day. God damn.
I mean, we would have things that we were doing, but like going over their house after you work, different things like that, like stuff like that. Like, but I was there. Like, even if they weren't there, I would still be at the house.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody would have to live with me to see me every day, but
That's basically what I'm saying. And after that, I was like, and I knew it wasn't gonna work because I really just wanted to go home. I was like, I do not want to stay here. Like, I want to go home. And that's when I knew that no, this isn't gonna work.
okay, so is it necessary to call a person like every single day to show them you're interested?
Call them. I don't say you have to call them, but usually when a person is extremely interested in you, they do want to hear from you, probably daily. But if people are busy, things are gonna happen, but they will let you know, like, oh, my bad, I'm busy doing this, so if you haven't heard from me, or sorry you haven't heard from me, da 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 da. I feel like that's fine because we're adults, so things can get haywire. But I feel like communication is a big part of what makes it that better, because I don't think you necessarily have to be on the phone with them, but probably text, how are you, checking up on them. But maybe I would say when you're getting to know a person and it's serious, like you want to make it serious, like y'all finally go on a date and it's like, okay, we kind of want to move into that realm, maybe. But the person I am dating someone right now, but we don't talk every day, but we do hit each other up and just check on each other and small things like that. And for me, I'm just like, I used to be super anxious about things like that, but I'm like, I'm not.
Like, I work 70 hours a week down there some days, but if I'm talking to a chick, I'll make sure I hit up every day.
Yeah.
It just ain't gonna be that 2 hour shit all the time.
Right.
But I'll make sure I hit up every day.
Yeah, at least because a lot of the times, because I remember I dated this one guy, he was like, oh, we don't have to talk every day. I was like, well, just letting them know, like, hey, how was your day? Things like that can account to something, because if you just drop off the radar and we just had a good 2 weeks where we're having a great conversation and getting to know each other, and then I don't hear from you, then it's like, what happened?
If I do that, that means you bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I just hit you up every other week or some shit like that. Okay, this is something that's kind of happened to me. Like, when you invite somebody on the show, and like, a person might say something bad about them. So basically, on Whack 100, he got a problem with Gilly and Wallow because Jay Prince came on their show and was like Rat 100 and was like talking shit about it. So like, what do y'all feel about like working with somebody like your friend might not like or have a problem with?
That my friend that'd be.
It's not might, but they don't like them at all, and you end up having to work with them. Should you not work with them or what?
I guess it depends on what it is, because you could work with a person and still have like your distance and it just be a work environment thing. Because a lot of people I work with, I don't talk to them like that. Like, it's just like a professional thing. Hey, do you have this? It don't have to be personal, like a personal relationship. So I feel like, I know the situation and I keep my distance. Because it's all about how I deal with it. Knowing my friend has a problem with this person. It depends on how deep it is, too, like the problem. Like, if it's just super simple, like, oh, I just don't like them, then it's just like, I'm not going to quit just because you don't like this person. Like, especially if they haven't really done anything. Now, if it's super serious, I'll probably think it over. But honestly, I'll just keep it professional. Like, keep it work-based.
What about you, Kay?
I feel like business is business.
Yeah.
Like, don't bring your emotions into my business, especially like anything with my money. Just calm down. At the end of the day, we still friends, and I ain't going, as long as I don't go in, business with them and then intertwine myself with whatever y'all got going on. Then mind your business.
Okay, let me give you a scenario. What if Scat was like, I don't like this nigga. He tried to holler at me, and then he tried to do business with you, and he was like, don't fuck with that nigga. He tried to holler at me or whatever. Like, would you work with him? And it's gonna bring a lot of money.
If it was gonna bring money, I'm gonna do it.
So you like fuck Scat. Huh?
Probably. I mean, no, I'm not probably saying fuck him, but like, it just, this guy tried to go smack at Scat, she's like, okay, like, don't talk to him, like, whatever. I'm gonna go do this job real quick though. And Scat will be on the same type of time. Like, he understands business is business too. So
yeah,
we about the bag.
I feel like if you have friends that are mature enough to know that, like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my friends are like dancers, so they're very professional when it comes to business.
Right.
Dancers, no, like professional dancers,
Like
in music videos and stuff like that, like actual dancers. Award show did like performances with big stars dancers. That's what I'm talking about.
Like going on tour.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they would definitely. I think they're professional enough to understand. Well, my friends at least. They'd be like, "Girl, go ahead." Like,
yeah.
as long as I'm not creating a friendship or a bond with that person, then.
Or try and bring them to the parties and shit. Like, nah, don't bring that nigga to the party.
That's when it gets too far. Where it's like, okay, now.
Right.
So what's something strange that you done ran into, like as far as like doing this music shit? Like somebody ever invited you somewhere and they started trying to come on to you and they pretended
You
it
ever
was
had a Me
business.
Too moment?
Yeah, something like that.
I've had situations where it was like we actually did work on something, but they were very flirtatious, or they came out and was just weird energy. But not for
What's
the
weird
most
energy?
part.
Like what
Like just stare, like just letting you know that they're interested, but they're not saying anything. They're not saying that, like, hey, or like kind of being close to you, and you just looking like, okay.
They fake shoot and they shot.
Yeah, like
they what?
Fake shoot and they shot. Like, it's just like, somebody like you without saying it. So they they just throw hints. They throwing hints.
Oh, that subtle shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. I just come right in and say it. Okay, it was a video of a blue face. He looked like it was him, but he didn't turn around. Like his girlfriend was beating up his mom and his sister.
I was wondering if that was him too.
When they had the picture and him when he was standing there, they had the same kind of haircut. So I figured it was. So what y'all thinking about? Like think about as far as like when a person you dating like get into it, maybe physical or.
I think it's
with your family.
Yeah.
I think it's weird because sometimes your family do be doing too much. Because I had a situation where my mom was doing too much with a person and almost got there, and I was kind of like, well, the way you be moving, ma'am, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I wouldn't want it, but I wouldn't be surprised because sometimes people be disrespectful or, like I said, cross boundaries, or they may touch you and you like, I gotta defend myself. I wouldn't like it, but if it happened, then I'd just be like. But obviously, if it's a man, I'm talking about them. But if it was like a man and my brothers or whatever, if they started it or if they was being disrespectful and doing too much, and he felt like he needed to go there, like I said, I wouldn't want it, but I wouldn't be upset. Like, you shouldn't be fighting my family. It's just like some people really be disrespectful. Like sometimes your family be disrespectful, and you just gotta be like, you gotta hold them accountable just as much as you would do a friend. Like. Just because you're my family doesn't mean I'm going to stick up for every little thing that you do. Like, I got your back, but, baby, you started that situation, so you got to handle it.
But out of respect, though, I probably would leave. I wouldn't hit your family.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want it to happen. Now, if you left, okay, cool. But if it just happened, then I'm just like,
It depends on the situation.
Yeah, basically,
I don't know. Somebody push you that far. Somebody push you that far to where you fight my mother.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it got to that point where they're touching you and stuff, then I'm like, well, what do you expect me to really do?
Yeah.
Like, you put your hands on them.
But I learned long ago to just mind your business. Like, at the end of the day, people are people. Like, especially dealing with crazy ex or whatever. Like, my whole family, a lot of my family didn't like him, and they didn't even know why they didn't like him. But he was respectful to them. But if it ever came to the point where he was disrespecting them, it's because they kicked it off. And initially, like, I would start trying to play like middleman, like, okay, well, this is what he meant, and this is what she meant,
Right.
and this is why this is okay, and this is why you should think this way. But I always end up getting the short end of the stick because it's like, oh, you choosing they like both of them, they like, damn, you choosing that side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm
That's
just trying to
how
make
it
sure
is.
everybody good. So I just learned to take myself out of the situation. If y'all get to fighting and I'm right there, like,
Because
y'all
then it
just gonna have
becomes
to
so
figure that shit out.
stressful on you where you're like, huh.
Yeah.
I gotta deal with both of y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My ex and my mom used to battle. I used to be like, damn, y'all want to see who could treat me the worst, like, and get away with the shit? What's up? So, nah, I'm gonna just mind my business. Y'all mad? Damn, it's
Right.
crazy.
It's like I can't control that, and then it's just like sometimes family do be in your relationship business way too much. It's a difference between you being a little protective and like, okay, well, da da da. Now, if you see something, then okay, but if you just off the bat don't like the person, or you know, you getting too much into it, then it's just like you have to create boundaries with them. Like, for instance, my mom, she's very, even at my age right now, she's still super overprotective. She, you know how moms are, they be mama bears. And I'll be like, you have to like stay out of my relationship, because she'll try to tell me stuff, don't be allowing this, and I'll be like, none of that is going on, man.
Right.
So I need you not to put that on them when they haven't done anything.
Right.
Like, the person hasn't done anything, like, or they'll project things that they
That's her
probably
trauma.
experienced. Yeah. So it's like, you have to create those boundaries with your family, because sometimes they do be in your business, and they can sometimes they can mess up a relationship. Like, I was looking on Twitter and a guy was like, I have to learn, you know, I have to talk to my mom about that, because she would do that with him and his girlfriend, cause drama. And then it's just like, this is not your relationship. Like, why are you so deep into it to the point where what we got going on now is your life? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I feel like creating boundaries with your family is super important, and it can prevent that from happening to an extent. I don't know what Blueface got going on, because he had that happen with 2 of his baby mamas.
He kicked his own mother out the crib.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what is up with his mom or what's going on with that dynamic, because it's like 3 different stories. So at this point, I'm like, I don't know what what it is, because he's like, oh, my mom's jealous of me. I mean, jealous of the baby mamas, and she want to be my girlfriend. And sometimes mamas do be doing that, like, especially if she's a single mother and she had a son, you know, she starts to treat him like he's her man. To the point where if he starts, you know, mama's boy, where he starts dating somebody else, everything the girl is doing is wrong. Like, I remember Ace Hood had a situation with his mom and his girl, and I think it was shown on 11 Hip Hop Miami, where he literally had to have a conversation with his mom because she did not like the girl that he was getting married to. And I was like, that happens. Like, you have to create boundaries, or, you know, things like that will happen for sure.
Yeah, my mom, she would never do that. She like real awkward. Like, I remember one time she came and she was like, she said, I know Bug be tearing that ass up. Like, she be saying weird shit like that. I be like, what the hell?
Your mom's a cool mom.
Yeah, she real cool.
Oh, that's good.
Not tearing that ass up. Yikes.
The girl was like,
But she was supposed to say, hell yeah, right? What?
okay, a person that has passed away that you would like to talk to again, and about what?
My grandmother. I would say my grandmother, and because okay, so I told you I'm a very spiritual person. So she comes to me in dreams. Like, I remember one time I had a dream, and literally all 3 of them was right there, and they just talked to me, and they were just like, "Oh, we're good here." Da 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 da. And
3 grandmas?
No, two of my grandmothers and one of my grandfathers.
Okay.
Like, both of my mom's parents are gone, and then my mother on my dad's side. And they visited me in dreams, and from time to time, it's just like to show that they're there, or just to give words of advice. So what would I ask? I think I would just enjoy the fact that I have that time with them. I probably wouldn't even think to ask anything. Like, I probably wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't know what to, or if it happened and that they were going, I'd probably be like, damn, like, now I have a question. So I don't even know.
So what's some words of wisdom they gave you? In your dreams, you said.
Let me think. Words of wisdom. I would just say like I wouldn't really say words of wisdom. They would just tell me how they are, like how they are in that realm, and just tell me that they're there. So whenever I need something, like we're right here. So if you need any guidance, or if you feel as if you need any protection, like we're always with you. Like we're with you all the time. Like don't ever worry about anything. Like just honor us. And we're there. Like that's basically it. Really.
Okay, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. So, you got any more questions, Katie? Since you ain't listening and shit.
As far as your craft, what would you say is one of the major, like a major experience for you, like performing or a certain song you've written or something that was major?
Major. I wrote this song a few years ago. I think 2017, called "Never Die on My Knees," and this is when I was going through my spiritual awakening, and I was realizing who I am as a person and how you can't find God outside of yourself. You have to go within, and that's basically what the song was about. Like, it was talking about, basically finding yourself. Like, I'm on a search for who I am, and I'm trying to find the reality and the truth in everything, and I'm looking towards outside sources instead of really going within myself and being like, all that I need is within me, and I have to discover who I am in order for that to, come out and really branch and stuff like that. And that was really what the song, it was a very profound song that I feel like I wrote. A lot of the people that I know, that's one of their favorite songs. And performance-wise, I would say just performing in general, like just getting out there finally and displaying your craft. Like, that was huge for me because I'm a very artistic person, but I've always had it to myself. So when it was came to like sharing that, it was very big because I'm like Erykah Badu, I'm sensitive about my shit.
Okay.
So it's like going out there to perform it was pretty anxiety ridden, but I loved it because it was like, damn, I'm stepping into this space where it's uncomfortable, but it's a great uncomfortable because now I get to go, I'm going further. I'm taking these steps into, my next opportunity, into my dream, really.
Right.
So that was like just performing in general, like starting to perform, that was like really, really big for me. And even like stepping off the stage, like just the fact that you did it and now you're excited, like I'm actually doing it, because a lot of people don't.
Yes.
They stop at certain paces where they're like, I want to do this, but they're allowing their fears to get in the way. So that was a big one for me, like dealing with the anxiety and stuff that I had, like really getting to that point where I'm like, I can't think about that. I had to really like not make it about me and go out there, like, and have fun with it. Like,
so you still have anxiety now, like performing?
I feel like everybody has it to an extent, like because I studied musicians like from Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Jay-Z, and all them. They all, like, even TLC, they're like, we still get scared before we go on stage. Like Beyonce, anytime I watch her perform, she's like, I'm terrified, I'm scared. Jay-Z even said he gets scared, but the difference is you actually going out and doing it.
Yeah.
Like, we all have that thing where we're like, we don't want to mess up, we want to put on a good show, and I think that's just being anxious.
Yeah.
It's not really like fear to an extent, but I feel like any artist, like when you really care about your craft, you're gonna have that thing where it's just like, whoo, but you go out on stage and you give a great show. Like, that's the difference between a person who allows that to interfere, because I know a lot of people that are like, oh, what are your advice for going on the stage? Like, how can I get over my fear? And I'm like, honestly, you just have to go on stage and continue to do it. Like, and eventually you'll get a little bit more comfortable. Like, you kind of will still have that not anxiety, but anxiousness. But you're used to it. And I was like, I've done this a couple of times before, so now it's just like.
Do your friends, like my friends, I'll be at shows and I'll be like, I'm scared, y'all. And they'll be like, shut the fuck up. Do your friends do that?
Yeah. But what's crazy is I'll never say it. But they'll be like, how you feeling? They'll ask me how I'm feeling. I'll be like, I'm a little nervous, but I feel like I'll do fine once I get on
That's good.
But yeah, like they're always, that's one thing I always loved about the friends that I had. They were very supportive. Like,
that's dope.
You gonna kill it, yeah. They're very uplifting. So that's great to have too. When you have people there that are very supportive,
definitely,
that's a plus.
Man, Yeah, my friends don't believe in that shy shit. They be like, y'all, I'm shy. They be like,
yes,
I'm dead
especially
serious.
dealing like the music industry and I'm in the dance industry.
Mm-hmm.
They do not care. You have to go, even if you are scared. Like there'll be times where they'll be like, where we'll have to do a freestyle dance,
Freestyles.
and I won't know what the hell to do. I'll just get out there and do some shit, or we'll be in class and I won't really know the steps, but I will still have to do it.
Yeah, just pop out.
And I'll be like, "Whoo, I am like I will be terrified." But dance is a little bit different because I've been doing that since I was a child.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't mind like being like fuck it and doing it. So yeah, but yeah, you gotta get over the fear.
So what do you have coming up, and where can people find you, and etc.?
Yes, I'm currently working on a project. I will. I'm not, obviously announce when that's out, but that's in the works. I'm in the process of that. I have a performance next Sunday at this Juneteenth event, and you can see the big details on my Instagram, which is QueenLEFT, QueenLEFT. And I'm just working on different, I feel like I found my sound. So I'm in the midst of, just being creative, like learning more about the music, with myself, like different instruments, different sounds, melodies, just being extremely creative and trying to bring creating my own style and sound, to it. So that's what I'm in the process in. So I'm showing that. I'm working on new music, so you'll hear singles coming out. But currently, I have 3 singles that I released throughout this year and last year, and they're on all platforms. One is called 7, one is Avalanche, and one is My Way.
One of my songs called 7.
Yes,
That's fire.
Yes.
What's your name?
7 for me?
Yeah. For both of y'all.
I was gonna say, what do you mean to you first?
Oh, mine was called 007, so it was based off of like James Bond.
Oh, that's dope.
Like I'm a very powerful person, but I don't have to be all like out with it, so I keep it like clean and pristine. Like he was a spy, you would have never known that shit. So it's just like I don't have to really say anything. I just silently display the type of person that I am. So that's basically what it means.
And mine is like the polar opposite. My 7 is that person in me who just goes off. So when you hear the song, that's my alter ego who is rapping to you and just going the fuck off about everything.
I love it.
Girl, I love the opposite of concept. Like that's really cool.
Also, I have a video called Avalanche coming out really soon.
Okay.
So that will be the next thing that is out. That's QueenLEFT video and performances. So you'll see me post things on my page. Performance based, so come out and support. Definitely,
yes.
We'll love that. Not just me, but other artists too. That that'd be dope. Cause
Girl, send me stuff. I'll come out.
Yeah, okay, definitely.
Me and my whole team gonna be like,
yeah.
I thought you was going to say me and my hoes.
I don't have no hoes. I ain't got no hoes.
Okay, literally, it's no pressure. I guess we out, man, and we're going to come back with another interview.